Right. Okay, start. Welcome. This is Benz and Joyce. As usual, we value marriage. We value relationship. We believe that marriage are meant to last for life and forever. That's why we have that conviction to speak a lot about marriage. So you are all welcome to join us. But before we do that, we want to speak briefly about what we spoke about last Sunday. Was it last Saturday? We spoke about husband, you are your wife's gardener. In other words, a gardener is there to cultivate, a gardener is there to protect, a gardener is there to change the environment. So once you are a gardener, you are created to make the wife become what God has meant her to be. Your wife may come with education. You need to be the good husband to cultivate her to become someone else. Your wife may have more money than yourself. It does not matter. You are the gardener. You can turn that money into business, into certain things. You have a role to play in a relationship as a gardener, as someone to cultivate, to change the atmosphere of a relationship. I think that's what we spoke about last time.
And I think as well I talk about a wife being a helper that men cannot do without a wife. Men cannot do without a helper. That a wife is a helper in the house. We misunderstood as well. I said last time the word helper, and I think we thought that women as a helper is being the kitchen, is being doing the cooking, the cleaning, the ironing, doing the kids' homework. That's not what the helper is all about. And I said when Adam came, Eve was not there, and then there were no kids. So when God said that he needed a helper, it was nothing to do with the kids. So husband need a helper. They cannot make their own decision alone in the house. They need someone to help them. So it's very important to have a helper as a wife in the house, that for your marriage, for your future to go in a great way, in a successful way, is to have a helper next to you, to be able to together. So that's how that your life and marriage can go very well. Absolutely. By a wife being there and helping a husband, is it?
Absolutely. In other words, the husband has a vision, has a calling, but you will not reach your destiny until you receive a help from a wife. She's there to support you, as we spoke last time. Great president, before they make a decision worldwide, they get help from their wives. They get support. They counsel their wife. They speak one another before they come to the final conclusion.
Yeah, and being a helper really is everything.
Yeah.
You can ask yourself, what does women do as a helper? Is everything in a marriage, everything that you do together, his wife has to be there next to her husband.
That's right.
And being the helper. So it's about really doing everything, not men making decision on her own, but a wife being next to her and helping her to make decisions, really.
Okay. And every successful husband, you will find behind there's always a good wife who's been a helper, supporting, getting the husband be what it is, who he is. Okay, last time we had a questions. One of our viewers were asking a question about what if the man does not want the help? What to do? What if the man does not or refuses to accept your role as a helper? There are many different ways we can answer that. But what I can say, sometimes as women, the first thing we do is to start nagging and making noise. I want to give you a very brief story, a short story of a husband who was always getting drunk and coming back home late. The husband goes to drink and comes back about 3-4 o'clock. The woman was always nagging, making noise. The husband goes away and comes back late, always nagging. It was like everyday's habit. And one day the woman consulted the man of God and they told her, listen, the best way to do when your husband comes late, don't nag her. Just give her food, just welcome him. So give him food, welcome him, and then just make him special. Humble yourself. And then the woman said, how can I do that? I said, let's try it. And the husband came back home late. And the wife said, oh, welcome, baby. You came today 3 o'clock in the morning? That was really good. I'll make you food. And husband couldn't understand. The following day, the husband came back about 1 o'clock. The woman said, welcome home. Is anything you want to eat? How was your day? We will miss you. We need you. The following day, the husband changed the time. He came back home 11 p.m. instead of midnight. The wife welcomed him. Welcome home. Now, by doing this thing, the husband has changed his behavior.
Or the wife welcoming him.
Yes, by the wife welcoming him home, not nagging at him, not shouting, where have you been? But that strategy has worked because the Bible says, do not lean on your own understanding. Certain things, you humbling yourself to the husband can easily change the position of the husband. So that husband was able to listen to his wife because the wife has humbled himself, and then the husband was able to listen to whatever the wife was saying. So that's one of the suggestions we say. If your husband does not listen, sometimes you, with your behavior,
as a wife, yes,
without words, prove your husband that you are a Christian without words, and try to change so that your husband can say, what happened to my wife? And then he can come around and probably listen to you.
Yeah, so sometimes really we can help as a woman, but we help in a not really in a positive way.
Absolutely.
You know? So your husband, yes, may refuse you as a helper because depending on your behavior, how you are asking
approaching,
for, yes, how you're approaching as a helper. You know?
That's right.
Because like my husband said, sometimes we nag our husband, although we are helping, but it depends how we behave in helping. You know, so yes, husband may refuse you as a helper. It depends how you approach your husband.
That's right.
So it's changing really our approach.
Our approach, how do we approach them? That's very important. So that's why we say a woman can still humble herself by trying to say, not without words, and changing and winning her husband. It's one of the biblical principles as well. So another way as a wife you can do, call your husband out. Let's go out for a restaurant for a meal. And when you sit down for a meal and talk, you say, honey or baby, what can we do? There is something I do. There is something you don't want me to do. What can we do? A very simple example could be also, there was a couple I was speaking to. The wife wanted to live here in England. The husband wanted to live in France. They had conflict. And then one of you has to humble. Your wife, you as a wife, you can humble yourself and say, well, you know what? Let's go to live in France because you want me to live in France, and go to France. If you go to France, things don't work well or the way you planned it, now you can evaluate. And then you speak to your husband, baby, I spoke to you about this. Now look, we went to France, it didn't work. So your husband will next time make sure he consults you than just deciding because I am the man. But the position of being a husband does not tell you that you're always right. You need to listen to your wife. I think that was one of the questions. And finally, one of the things you could do, prayer. You know, you could change your husband through prayer because prayer can penetrate a person's heart. Whatever about husband is, you can pray and he can change. I think that's what we spoke about last time. That's what we spoke about last time. And today we'll speak about love and submission. My wife is going to start. Welcome, brother Mohomoti, I would love you to be there, and Catherine King, I would love you to be there as well. Pastor Duma, you are welcome. We are only speaking about relationship. Anyone who values a relationship, anyone who values to have a relationship, or husband and wife, that's the right thing for us to do. We talk about this on a daily basis. So my wife is going to speak about submission, and I will speak about love. The whole show will take us about half an hour. So my wife will speak in the next 10 minutes, briefly explaining what is really to submit. What is it? What's idea? What was in God's mind about submission? Okay, let's just listen to her for a while.
My name is Spring.
Okay, so yeah, that's right. So we will hear as my wife is going to be speaking about submission. And please, if you have your question, post them, put them in the comments.
Just put your questions in there. You know, if you've got any question really to ask. But like, I'm going to talk about submission. I think is a word which is mostly misunderstood. If I'll say that, submission. If anyone hears submission, you know, everyone thinks, oh, I can't submit. You know, but it depends how we take it really.
Yeah.
But it's one of the requirements that God has asked the wife to do. One, you know, it's not like God asks us wives to do a lot of things in a marriage to succeed. He only said, wives submit. And he asked the husband love. So those are the two things that can make your marriage to be perfect and be beautiful, really. But the word submission, I'm just going to explain what is it really before we can go further. But submission is really a simple word. It's just acknowledging or accepting your husband's authority.
That's right.
Simple as that. Wives, you accept or you acknowledge your husband's authority in the house, as him being the leading the house, as him being the head of the house. It's simple as that. You accept and you acknowledge that he's the head of the house. I hope you are with me. Okay?
That's right. And
husband is not controlling or suppressing your wife. It's not.
That's right.
Okay? I think I'm clear enough. It's not a weapon that my wife has to submit. I can do anything. I can control. I can be abusive. No, it's not. It's just your wife saying, wow, this is the husband of the house. I'm going to respect him. I'm going to submit to him. I think I'm clear enough on that, please. But if you want to ask any question, keep on asking. Yeah? And to the wives, I'll say this. If you submit to your husband, it's not because that you are a weak person. You are not weak.
Yeah, you are not inferior.
You are not weak when you submit to your husband. Actually, you even become a stronger person when you submit. You know why? When the wife submit, they become stronger. This is why. Because you submit, you don't take control in the house. You don't tell the husband what to do. You don't, either shout, disrespect your husband. So you become joyful. You become happy, and that's make you stronger. But the fact that you don't submit, you do anything, you whatever, it frustrates you, and you become even weaker. Does it make sense? So you become not happy anymore. You become sad because you're not submitting. So submission really brings joy.
Absolutely. Because
you are calm in the house. Yeah. I hope you're understanding. So I'm talking to the wife. So I'll ask the wife to type, in your screen there, or in your comment. I want the wives, all the wives or fiance or wife to be, just type the word submit. And I want to see it there. Okay. I'm waiting to see that. So I want all the wives to type submit. And I want all the men who are watching to type yes. But don't get too much excited, because my husband will be talking to the husband.
I'll be attacking the man in not long.
He'll be attacking the men, yeah.
Saving them, actually.
So women, I'm waiting for you to type submit. And I want the husband to type yes.
Welcome, Maxine.
Yes.
Welcome, Asanda.
Okay, so I'm still waiting for you to type. Women, can you please type submit. And husband, can you please type yes. Okay. Now, I'm going to talk about this. A husband, I'll say, if you are doing what is required in the marriage, it's going to be easier for your wife to submit.
Absolutely.
Okay. So if the husband is doing what is, thank you, Asanda, for typing submit. Okay, I'm still waiting for more women to type submit, and I'm waiting for the husband to type yes. Okay. Like to the husband, if you are doing what is required in the house, now it's going to be easier for your wife to submit.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, husband, submission is not you making decision on alone. No, it's nothing to do with that.
No.
Yeah. Submission is let. My husband let. So it's true. That's what submission is all about. Okay. It's about, at the same time, men leading, men initiating in the house. Okay. So men really, he takes the leadership in the house, but at the same time with the women following him. Does it make sense? So men make things to happen in the house. Okay. So he takes charge of things, but even if he takes charge of the things in the house, the woman is there helping.
Yeah.
Okay. So the woman can listen to what the man is saying. Okay, yes, they did. Yes, my husband, I can hear what you are saying. So it's both working together.
Welcome, Monica. Welcome, Dominique.
So now it's keep on saying this. This is what the submission we talk about. Now I'm gonna go back to saying, wife submit, and he's saying to your own husband. I think you've heard the word when I say to your what? your own husband. Is it? Do you want to add anything there? To your own husband.
To your own husband. Sometimes women can easily submit to their pastors, submit to their bosses, submit to other people, but they cannot submit to their own husband. But that's the secret. If you want your marriage to be successful, submit to your own husband.
Yes. So like you said, it's easier. The wife can submit to the police, you can submit to someone at your work, your boss, you can submit to authorities. We submit. If the police stop us, I'm driving on the way, they stop me.
Yep.
Why will I stop? Because they've got authority.
They've
we
got
submit. Power.
The
same way that our husband in the house, they've got authority, so we need to submit to them. Same thing. I give example of mine at work. Sometimes when I'm with my colleagues at work and we are in the office, and we'll be talking, chatting. Then we'll hear some footsteps, and we'll be like, oh, that's Miss Johnson coming. So we're doing back our work because
Miss Johnson,
explain. When I say Miss Johnson, I'm talking about maybe my supervisor or my manager. Okay. So as we are talking in the office, we hear the footsteps and we're like, oh, come on, I think it's Miss Johnson. So we go back to do our work. You know why? Because we are respecting her. She does not expect us to see us talking in the office, but she expects us to be doing the work. So we go back to doing our work duties.
Absolutely.
Because she's got authority at work. So the same thing with our husband. The only thing is, let us be careful as wife not to submit to other people, but we cannot submit to our own husband. So there was this story actually of a husband. I think what he did is he put an advert, and he's saying wife wanted, but within a day, I think the following day, 2 days, the man received a lot of letters on the post, and nearly over a lot of them, really, to be honest. But most of these letters was written, you can take my wife, you can take mine, So this man was looking for a wife, we normally look through wives or husband on Facebook, whatever. But he just put an advert. He received a lot of letters, and most of the husband were saying, you can take mine. We don't want to go in the situation where because you cannot submit, it's like the husband cannot wait to get rid of you. So that's very, very important. Now, for those who knows, the Bible, there's a scripture in the Bible which says, wife, submit to your own husband, and he's saying, even if they do not believe the word, which is the word of God, and he's saying, they may be won over. You can win them over.
By your behavior.
Without words. By your behavior.
Absolutely.
So which means as women, because we women sometimes, can I say this? We can talk. I think you know what I'm talking about. We can talk. We can talk. We've got a lot of talking, and I think someone said if you give a woman a sentence or a paragraph, if you talk to your wife,
if you give her a sentence, she'll give you a page.
Or if you give her a sentence, she'll give a paragraph. You give her a paragraph, she'll give you a book. That's how women we talk. So but this word says we can win our husband without words, which means without nagging, without talking much.
Yes, just by behaving well, you attract us.
Yes. I've heard a lot of stories where the wife will be complaining, that my husband doesn't want to come to church with me, or my husband doesn't want to cook, or whatever, to cook or to help with the kids or to do something in the house. My husband doesn't want to help in the house. We talk about this. It depends how you ask him to help you.
Yes, right.
But your behavior by asking him, by your words asking him, that's gonna help. That's gonna make him to help you.
That's right.
So we can change our husband by our action, by our behavior. How we behave towards them is gonna change them. So you submit by respecting them, by how to ask them. You don't tell them, "Did you wash the dishes? You haven't washed the dishes today.
Where have you been today?
Where have you been?
You're coming late.
You can't even
always
help."
talking with friends.
Yeah, I've heard that before. You can't clean, you can't, those type of things. Men don't like that,
Absolutely.
But our behavior, how we talk to them, it's going to change them just to help. You don't even have to ask them because they're going to help you. So our behavior is very, very, very important. I've heard the story of, in the Bible which says, a woman, if a woman is constantly talking and is constantly nagging and is constantly, shouting in the house, it's like a dripping, in a leak of a roof in a rainy day. So I think you have heard, maybe some of you, even here I've seen it, maybe you are from Africa, but even this country I've seen going in one shop. If it's rain and there's a bit of a drip or a leak in the roof, and what we normally do is we put a small bucket for the water to drip in that small bucket. And I think you know what I'm going to talk about. Once it's bring that noise, when the water leaks and it's dripping on that bucket in the roof, it's make a funny noise. It's like ding. I think you know that.
Such an annoying noise.
So that noise annoys. So how do they compare that noise to? To a wife who always chatting, nagging, and shouting. It's like that noise of a water dripping from the roof. So wife, we don't want to be like that. We want to be respectful to our husband. There's a story as well of a man. I think the man went away, and she left her wife alone in the house. But there's a burglar who came at night, and he broke in the house. The man took most of the things in the house. The wife.
The burglar,
the burglar, So the wife was sleeping. She did not hear anything, but the man managed to steal things, and he went. They went to report. Obviously, the following day, the woman realized that things were gone TV, so he went to report. So when he went to report, the police tried to find out the guy, but at the end they found the guy who stole in the house. Okay, so they took the man in jail. So when the man came back to the trip where he went, the wife told her the story that, someone broke in, but they caught the man, he's in jail. What the man did is one day he went to jail and he went to ask the guard there. He said, please, can I see the guy who stole in my house, because I want to speak to him something. And then the guard said, no, you go. You're going to see the guy in the court very soon. You don't need to see him now. He said, no. I don't need to see the guy in the court. I really want to ask him a question. How did he manage to steal in my house without waking up my wife? So really the man was trying to say, how did he come in the house without waking up my house and stole everything? Because the man, I think he must have been in trouble with a marriage, and he's thinking the only way he can come home is at night when the wife is sleeping. So he wanted to find the same thing. How can I do that? How can I come to my house at night, without waking up my wife? So I want to come when she's still sleeping. Then I can be able to go straight to bed without waking her up. So that was the man was all about, really. So we don't want to be those type of women that the man, does not want to come to the house, because he knows that the minute he gets in the house, there'll be some shouting, there'll be some nagging. He wants to come home very late when you are sleeping, but he wants to get some strategy as well. How can he get in the house without waking you as a wife and just go straight to bed? We don't want that. Now, in conclusion, can you go back? In conclusion is, God gave us only one instruction to the wives. It's not difficult one, The only thing is, wives submit. That's the only thing. Wives submit to your own husband. That's my conclusion. And I believe that it's not really, that can be able, as for us to be able to do that when you put even God in our lives. If you don't believe in God, but that's the only strategy, like we said before, that marriage is being created by God. And God asks us, the only thing we need to do is to submit. Submit is a magic word for me, because if you submit, the husband will automatically love you. And when the husband loves you, you'll automatically submit as a wife. So the two works together, really. For me, I call them the two magic words. There's nothing else you can do in a marriage. Money may not satisfy your husband or your wife. Nice car, beautiful car. Because as long as you don't submit, your marriage may still not be good. But as long as you submit to each other, your marriage will be blessed. So if you've got any question, please put it down there. But that's all I want to talk about submission. If you miss some of the part, please go back and just hear some of the ideas that we have said today. It can be able to help you in submission.
That was powerful. Okay. May it help us now, so probably I'll speak the next 5 minutes. Just to say that was really powerful. We all want marriage to succeed. As we say, the role of the devil is to steal, to kill, or to destroy our marriage. It's obvious. And I'll tell you what, the words love is the most misunderstood word in the world. Why? Most people who are divorced today, they were once in love. Most people who are today a husband, I've seen women who are shot dead simply because they were in love. I've seen a husband who's been killed simply because he was in love. You know the story of those Peter, is it who? Peter, the South African model, who was shot by a man who was a double amputee, you know, because there was love involved. So we want to understand, what is it really love? We want to talk about it. Men, as you're watching me, some of you are not yet in relationship, would love to have a relationship, but we want to understand what is really love. When we were born, we found the word love. What was in the mind of God when he was talking about love? We want to know what is really love. I'm going to talk about it. Love, I'm going to give you 5 definitions you're going to take home tonight. That love is simply value. Did you get me that? Love is value, which means a husband, when a husband loves, a husband is loving because he values the woman. If you have a new BMW, how do you value that? You put petrol, you wash your car, you service your car, you watch it every day, you polish your car, you spend time with your car, you go in town with your car, you go visit friends with your car, you go everywhere in supermarket with your car.
If you get scratched or get into accident, you
are in trouble. Why? Is the value.
So sad.
You are sad. That's the same way we treat women. If you see me, I'm in town, I'm with my BMW. Everything wrong, I have to check. I go everywhere, I'm with my BMW. Why? The value that I place on my wife is so highly, she's so valuable that I cannot go anywhere without her. So love is value. And because there is a value on her, before I take her from her home, I had to pay a price, which they call it lobola. Lobola simply means you are taking something or someone who has a value. So we pay a certain amount of money. We don't buy the person, but we value the person. So love is a value. Why? She has left every man in the world, every man in Muruleng. She only came to me. Every man in South Africa, every man in wherever, she came to me, and that's how I have to value her, because she left every man in the world for me. So in other words, I have a responsibility to value her with all my heart. So love is value. Number 2, love is a debt. They call it ongoing debt, which means you can pay all the debts in your house. You can pay the debt of a mortgage, you can pay the debt of your car, but the debt you will always never finish to pay is a debt of love. I will never cease to love this woman. Why? Is a debt I will never finish it. You know, sometimes you may have a problem with your wife, you don't love her anymore. Think about it. If you have a debt, you don't feel like paying the debt, but you still have to pay it, don't you? Why? Love is an ongoing debt. There is no love in marriage. There is love in people. You don't get married to find love. You bring love in the marriage. So love, I say, number 1 is a value. Love, number 2 is a debt. Number 3, I want to talk 5. Number 3, what is love?
That's sharp.
Love is what? God is love. I want to tell you that. Husband, when God said love your wife, how did God compare that love? He said the same way Christ loved the church. Let me go in a normal term. The same way God loves people is the same way I have to love this girl. Did you hear that? See how many times we offend God. How many times we sin against God. How many times we cheat. How many times we steal money. How many times we go through the red light. God forgives us. That the same way God loves the people is the same way I have to love her. So love, God is love. So in other words, if you want to see how God loves people, see the way I love Joyce. That's all. If you don't see the way I love Joyce, which means I am portraying the image of God. So God is love. You are a man as you are there. I know you're watching me. Let me tell you something. That thing of you being attracted to another person. Have you ever seen a woman who's got everything but she does not love, or a man who has got everything but she prefers to go out with a woman who is almost nothing? Give an example. There's a man who has no limb. Yeah, I don't mind mentioning the name. But there's a woman who is beautiful. She want to go out of that man. Do you know why? There is something in the heart of the woman drawing her to the man. So love is simply God. So if you really want to have love with your wife forever, you need to have God in you. Everyone believes in God, even atheists, they believe in God. So please, the same way God loves the people, the same way we're supposed to love them. So love is God. Number 4, love. You will love your wife if you are the head of the family. As Mommy said earlier, a head simply means you have the responsibility to lead your family to fulfill what they were supposed to be. Did you hear that? A head is not a boss. A head is not the one who makes decision alone. A head is someone. Take example of a school. Head of a school means who? He wants to make the school to succeed, to become a top school. So in the school, the headmaster will have teachers. But the teachers, the headmaster will submit to the teachers. Because if the headmaster mistreats the teachers, which means those teachers may not perform well, it will affect the head. So when you are loving your wife, you are heading your family. You are the head of your family. So that's what I just say. That's why your woman takes your surname. Why? Because you change her, she takes your surname. You are now becoming the head of the family. So when you are the head, you also submit to the woman. Do you understand? When my wife cooks something, I have to submit, or my wife does something, I have to submit to her as well. She sometimes tells me, don't come in the kitchen, or don't do this way, or when you wash your shirt, please wash in your colors, all these things, I submit to her. So when you love your wife, submission becomes easy. Isn't it, baby? Mm-hmm. When you love...
I call submission and love magic word for me, because
absolutely.
Like I said, God only asked the wife to submit, and God only asked the husband to love. So we cannot say God gave me a lot of responsibilities. He only told you to submit and husband to love. So
that's right.
They work together. If you love, if the husband loves, then you'll submit. Exactly. If I submit, then you love me. So that's two magic words for me, to be honest.
Absolutely.
So we can't go wrong with submission and love. Like I said, you can have money, you can have cars, you can have everything nice. But if you don't submit or you don't love, you're not going to enjoy. Love is not going to make you, money is not going to make you to love each other. Absolutely. Nice cars, beautiful house is not going to make you to love each other. But submission and love will do that.
Absolutely. That's what we just said. That love and submission are the two corobella, for those in South Africa, they understand what I mean. Are the two, listen, I'm going to come back and explain. I'll just use another term. Are the two magic words for success in a relationship. That's why we are trying to define what is love, what is love. We say that when you are the love, you are heading the family. You make sure the children be where they're supposed to be. You make sure your wife become where it's supposed to become. So that's why the two magic words. And again, in love, there is submission. In submission, there is love. And finally, love is not a 50-50. That is the end part of it. Which means, don't say, oh, my wife will pay 50%, I have to pay 50%. No. If you can do 100%, do it. If you come home, you find that works need to be done, don't say, you know what, I've done this thing, my wife will do it. It's not a 50-50. When you are there, do it. When you have the money, do it. When you can afford a car, buy it for you and your wife. It's not, I pay this, you pay that. There's no 50-50 in a relationship. So that is love. To recap, as I said, first of all, love is the value. Love is the debt you continue to pay. God is love. So love is God. It means to love your wife the way Christ will love the people. And again, as you love your wife, you are heading your family. You are the head of the family. The head does not mean the boss. Simply means you have a responsibility of that family. That anything that goes wrong in the family, you are responsible. Anything in a family that go wrong in a school, the headmaster is to blame. Anything in a football team that failed to win, Bafana or Manchester United, the coach is to blame. So that's only the responsibility we have, but we still cannot run this family alone being the head. We need to listen to our wives for us to succeed, and finally it's not a 50-50. I think that's all we had for our show today, except when you want to say something as a recap. Please always post your comment. We will meet again on Saturday, 6 o'clock. Put in the diary. We will discuss about love. We will defend marriage. Marriage are meant to last for life. And we don't want to have a relationship you only stay together because you want to pay bills. You want to stay together because you want to pay the bond. We're supposed to enjoy a relationship. I want you, when your wife goes home, you say, I can't wait for her to come back. When I'm coming from work, I'm running. I can't wait for my work to see my wife. That's how a relationship to support to finish. There was a last story. I don't know. I got 1 minute to say that. A wife died after they've been together with the husband for 20 years. When the wife died, when they taken to bury the wife, there was a little corner. They hit that corner. The corpse fell on the floor, and guess what? The wife came back to life. So again, they lived again with the husband for another 10 years. And again, the wife died again. They took the wife to the grave. When they were taking the wife to the graveyard, the husband said, hey guys, please, wash that corner again. I don't want you to hit that corner because she will wake up again. In other words, the husband could not wait to get rid of his wife. That's not what it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
Baby, what do you
that's
say?
why submission is very important. It's very important to submit as wife, because if the wife want to take a lead and want to be the head of the house, the wife, you are going to be frustrated. And the fact that you are leading, the husband will be frustrated. So there will be two double trouble really in the house.
Absolutely.
Because the wife want to lead, she's getting frustrated because she keep on telling the man one thing. The man also is getting frustrated because the woman is leading. So double trouble in the house. So submission, yes, I understand that, other wives may say, or women may say, you know what, it's hard, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to say because it's hard with this man, whatever it is. But it's saying it is our behavior. Sometimes as women, when you become quiet, when you don't nag too much, just our behavior may change our husband. I think that First Peter said it. We can win them without words, just by our behavior. They're gonna just say, wow, this woman is different, it's not the way I know her. So they can just change, just like that. So be blessed, women, submit, and husband, love. Like I said, those are the two magic words, and just use them and your marriage will be successful. And I normally say to the women, if you are single or if you're not married yet, don't marry and accept you're going to submit. Because if you are going to marry and you're thinking, I'm going to be a strong woman, it's going to be hard. If you're a strong woman and your man is strong, that's another double trouble. When you get married to a strong woman, you will have to be weaker and your husband has to be stronger than you. So bless you all and thank you for watching. Thank you, Asanda, can see you. Thank you, Cedric, bonjour. Tilly, welcome. Amo, Saidi, I can see all of you there. Mohammed, welcome all of you guys for watching. Submission, yes, definitely.
Again,
bless you all.
Next time we will talk about different topics. We'll talk about everything, finances, relationship, communication, all the things. We will stand together as loving people, as you and us, so that we can overcome this thing, because the government never really talk about marriage.
And so please take this seriously, because it's our time, just coming here. We have sent our kids upstairs, and the reason we are doing this, because we have seen it, we've experienced it. People struggling in their marriages and people getting divorced, people getting hurt. It's not really a good thing. It's hurts. But we are doing this because we love, to share and for everyone to enjoy marriage, because it's a beautiful thing. So please, if you want to share the video for most people to know. I normally say when a young couple like us, as well, we are young. But when a young couple get married, the parents normally send them away. But there's no really advice or help how can they manage their marriage. So we love doing this because we love marriage and we enjoy our marriage as well. So be blessed.
Thank you very much for listening.
Bless you all, guys.
That was Benz and Joyce. We love you and we will see you again next time.
Amen.
Thank you.
May God bless you.
Remain blessed.
Amen.